Hey everybody, I'm Alex with Alex's Addictions and welcome to my video. I've been off of YouTube for a little while. I only made like a handful of videos and then I just kind of stopped cold turkey and focused on my Instagram. But I'm back now, actually going to be explaining how I make some of my Instagram content today, specifically single eye makeup videos. I've seen a lot of them on Instagram. I like to make them myself. I haven't really seen a lot of videos out there explaining how to make them, so I'd like to do that today for you guys. So if that interests you or you want to learn how to do it for yourself, stick around because we're about to get into it. Okay, so there are some videos on Instagram that only show makeup application happening on one eye, but it just shows about this much of your skin. And sometimes it'll be a brow and then eyeshadow, sometimes it's just eyeshadow, whatever. And I saw them everywhere. And since what I was posting on Instagram was mostly just single pictures of my eye, I figured why not start filming these videos as well? It's a good way for me to branch out into other content without really having to do a whole lot more than what I was already doing. Now this time I was just going to be filming it instead of just taking pictures of it. So I looked all over YouTube. I was just scrolling through how to film an eyeshadow tutorial, how to make Instagram videos, but nothing like specific to what I was actually looking for. So fast forward to now. I've made only a handful of these videos, right? Like I haven't made a ton, but I've made enough to where I feel confident in explaining how I make them. So that way maybe one day you guys can make them as well. Or if you're just curious about the process that goes behind it, you know, I just want to be that person that can explain it. So let's just kind of get into how I do it. So first and foremost, I film everything on my cell phone, whether it's those close-up eyeshadow looks or you right now are in my phone. I'm filming this video in my phone as well. So unfortunately, I won't be able to show you exactly what I use, like what I do with my phone because it's being used right now. But I will show you to the best of my ability without the phone. So first things first is filming your actual video. So I have a second ring light here. You're attached to my other one. And it's got a phone holder right here, you know, the one of those kind. And it's got the ring light. Now I have the ring light tilted back the opposite direction because my desk that I film on is kind of slanted a little bit. So if I do this, it counterbalances the weight of my phone and that way nothing topples over on me while I'm filming. I got this off of Amazon. I think it was like $25, maybe even less. They're really inexpensive to get these things, and I think this one extends to maybe about like 6 feet tall. No, maybe not. Maybe more like 5 feet tall. I feel like it's not taller than me. So this is a smaller one than the one that I use for my actual videos, which is you. So I set my stand like right here, angle my phone camera. Sometimes I have to like, you know, push it up. But anyway, I have my phone here and I record about this close. So right here to here, that's probably like 6 inches, maybe like about that much, about 6 inches away. So my phone's like right up in my grill while I'm filming these videos. But it's really not that inconvenient. I've got my mirror right in front of me that I use to like look at my actual makeup application while I'm doing it. And then I've got the phone camera right here. I film the whole thing. I film the entire application. I just start the camera and don't turn it off until I'm completely done. Sometimes that leaves me with, you know, an hour and a half of footage, sometimes even more, depending on how complex the look is. But that's the way I like to do it, just because it's a little bit easier for me. I don't have to worry about stopping and going the whole time, which I know some people do because they don't have the storage capacity on their phone to hold an hour and a half long video. But thankfully my phone can hold it, so that's what I like to do. Now when I finish doing that, I then airdrop the entire clip onto my laptop. I have a MacBook, so I can do that. If you don't have a MacBook though, there are like drop boxes and stuff like that where you can Dropbox your movie without actually having to compress it, because you don't want to have to compress it because it's an up close video. You want as much detail as possible. Instagram already compresses things whenever you upload, so at that point it's just going to be really bad quality. So now we can go over to what I do once it's on my computer. I do everything in Final Cut Pro. So this is a paid for service. Now, if you would like me to show you how to make videos like this in iMovie or in a free service like that, let me know in the comments down below and I will do my very best to figure it out and post a video about it. Because I think I have it in my brain how I can do it. I just need to put it into practice and see if it actually works. So we're going to use this today. I'm going to show you this method, and then later on I can always film another video explaining how to use a program like iMovie, something that can come free or comes, you know, pre-installed on your phone or your computer. So you know, I use all Apple products, so I'm sorry Windows people, but this is what I got. So I opened up Final Cut Pro, and we're going to do, we got a new project. We're going to type in right here, test project. So I like to name all of my projects. And then we come down here to the video format. So 1080p HD is the standard across the board format, but that is going to be in this resolution right here, which is not a square. We need a square for Instagram. So we're going to go down here to custom. Now you have the option to change this. So now we've got 1080p times 1080p, which will make a square, right? Because that's the number of pixels. So if you have the same number of pixels going across the top as you do the side, you're going to have a square. So now we've got this, and that's all I change. I don't change anything about the rate or projection type. You know, I'm sure if you know a little bit more about video editing or cameras or whatever, that might be something you'd want to edit. But for me, this is what works well with the cell phone or with recording on my iPhone X. It's perfect. So we're just going to click OK. So now we have a new project, and it's blank, but you can see up here that we have a square display, and that is where any of your video will show. Once you have video in there, it's going to all show right there. So you know, I did this a while ago, transferred it all over. Y'all, my images are terrible, but I just drag and drop it in there and it creates like a full video. Now I've already kind of gone through and cut up my footage. So this is a video that I was going to show for you guys today, and show you how I get it into the format that it's ready for Instagram. Okay, but so let's just kind of look at the footage a little bit. All right, so it looks silly, right? Like that looks silly. I've got so much of my face showing, and you know, I've got pimples down on the bottom that I don't even bother covering up because it's all gonna get cropped out. But if this were to get posted on Instagram, I think I would be embarrassed, just to be honest with you. For me, I want to make it look a little bit more polished and professional on my page, so obviously this isn't going to cut it. Another thing too is that you'll notice in some shots my eye is really centered on the page, and others it's kind of like off to the side. So, you know, iPhone cameras now have the option to edit your videos and crop them. So you can take a whole video and crop it into a square, which is great and all, but not if you're moving around so much in the actual frame that when you crop it into a square, you know, maybe you'll get like half an eye over here, you'll get half an eye in this shot. It's just, you know, it's not the best way to do it. It's, my eye moves around a lot because I'm doing this and I'm kind of moving closer to the mirror, you know, getting stuff, and then I shift my seat a little bit, whatever, you know. So I'm never like perfect same spot the whole time. If I was like that, I bet I would have like neck problems or something from like keeping so still for like an hour and a half, you know. So a uniform square crop across the board isn't gonna cut it. What's gonna cut it for me is cropping these individually. And that sounds like it's a lot of work, but Final Cut actually makes it pretty easy for us. So what we're gonna do is I'm actually going to select all of this, And I just did that by clicking the first one and then hitting shift and clicking the last one. So that selects all of it. And then you'll come over here, right? So right here, you're gonna click the film button at the top, right here, and you're gonna come down to type, and instead of fit, we want fill. So that way it'll fill that whole square, because there were like black bars there. So, so now we've filled the whole square. So it already zooms in a little bit for us. However, that's still not gonna cut it, right? Now this is what gets me annoyed. Like, there needs to be a better zoom function, but unfortunately there's just not. So what I have to do here is I dragged this down to get to one of the corners of the frame, and we're just gonna pull it out until it's zoomed in the way I'd want it to be zoomed in. So this zoomed in, and it might have zoomed in enough, but I personally probably don't think so. So again, we're just gonna push that down, pull that corner out, zoom it in a little bit, and bring this right into the center. This right here will let you rotate it. So if it's kind of at too much of an angle, you need to rotate a little bit. So now we can play this. See, much better. Let's go over here, and I'm just going to show you a handful of these, and then we can kind of touch base once I'm finished. Let's see, that might be good enough. Perfect. All right, now right here, here's a good example of something I'd want to center. I want that to be like center, you know? Come over here. All right, so here's the first one of me actually applying makeup. So let's pull down here. Definitely need to zoom this in a bit. And remember, you can always go back and unzoom it. Oh, I totally forgot to mention. So we're doing all this in the transform tool. So if this isn't already selected, I think mine might just kind of like remain selected. So if it's not selected, you just click this button right here and then hit transform, and that's what gives you the option to pull out the corners and rotate the image a little bit. So I'm sorry for not saying that sooner, but that's where we're at in this. So let's see what this looks like now that it's been cropped in. See? Now we have this one. So again, just want to pull it down. Why there isn't a better way to zoom this, I have no idea. And really, this doesn't take as long as it looks, okay? It really doesn't. It looks like it takes forever, but you know, you kind of get used to it. It's just kind of you get the hang of it. It becomes kind of second nature for you. Okay, so here's one where it kind of looks like my eyebrows like a little too straight, so I'm going to just rotate just a smidge, nothing crazy, but that's going to help it kind of look a little bit more like uniform with the rest of my video. Okay, so the last thing I do to get this to be totally Instagram ready, I need to watermark it. So I go up here to the text thing, I just do basic title, and I drag it and drop it right here. You're just gonna double click that. Where are you? Come on. There you are. So you double click it, and the title box over here should come up where you can edit the actual text. So of course I want it to say, at Alex Addictions, the Instagram handle, of course. Now, instead of doing normal, I like to do 2D styles, go down to minimal, and just kind of keep things as is. Of course, I will definitely make my text a lot smaller. Great. And then I just click on that middle thing and drag it straight down to the bottom. Now in that image, you can't really see it as well, but, you know, you can see it there for sure. And then if anyone were to screenshot this, I'd still be able to see it. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the biggest thing. So of course I'm going to take this and drag it so that way it'll cover up the whole video. Just pop it right there at the end. We have our video. So now let's see what we got here. Now, it might be a little shaky because my computer is trying to process this video while screen recording and screen mirroring my phone. It's kind of a lot going on. So if it's a little like jumpy, that's why. It looks jumpy on my end. I don't know if it will in the actual like screen recording. We'll see. God, Suva Beauty, those hydro liners are something else, you know. That look was so neon in person. Of course, it looks pretty dull in real life. Or on the camera. Okay. So maybe not like the world's greatest look. Nothing special too much about the actual look. But now you guys can see how I film these videos and how I edit them. So I hope that that gave kind of like an insight into what I do, what I'm recording, you know, how I create the things that I post on Instagram. And if you wanted to make a video yourself, you know, this is a way to do it. This is a way. I'm not saying it's the way. And like I said, if you guys want me to figure out how to do it on iMovie, or how to do it, you know, just using like a phone, maybe not using external editing software, I bet I can figure it out. I bet I can. I would just need to play around with it a little bit. So if you do want that, please request it in the comments down below. And other than that, I hope you have a really great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.